What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Get Paid for Your Pad, STR Conversations with Eric Muller and myself, Jasper Rivers. Today we're going to talk about the short-term rental legends mastermind, how we got started working together. So, going to give you guys an update, and it's going to be fun. Eric, what's up, man?
What is up, brother?
How's your week in Idlewild? We got a lot of people reaching out after we spoke last week about the tiny homes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had so many reactions to a podcast. Like literally like a dozen people emailed us.
Yeah, man,
really cool.
It's a hot topic right now. You know, it's obviously tiny homes been around for a while, but I think it's just getting more and more popular. It's getting easier to build. You're getting more designers that are building some really cool spaces. And I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, this is just a great opportunity to buy properties and pop these units up and generate some cash flow. So yeah, Idlewild was good, man. We got a lot going on up there. We were just talking that this week we're going to engage a interior designer for the 4 units that we have up there. We're going to engage a new contractor, which is really exciting. We're going to engage a new property manager that we're going to align with. Excuse me, going to align with up there. And we may engage a new tiny home manufacturer to design the Free Wild design. So got a lot going on, dude.
There's a lot going on. Yeah. And a lot of people reached out. If you reached out, like we'll do a bigger update on all of this in the next couple weeks on the podcast. Because we got a lot of people reaching out, like manufacturers, people who are doing tiny homes, people who have tiny homes for sale. We got so many emails, and we haven't responded to all of them yet. So if you did email us, we will get back to you, and we will talk more about the tiny homes in the next couple of weeks. But we want to wait a little bit because we don't want to give out too many details as we're literally in the process, right? So I think in a couple of weeks or so we can do a really cool podcast, just kind of continuing the tiny home story.
Yeah. We'll touch on that a bit more. And we for overnight success, we just hired a new media manager, John, who's going to be helping us build out a YouTube channel and document the entire process that we're going through, where we're going to share it on YouTube and social media, all the things. So in the coming months, we're going to be sharing quite a bit on how to build these communities and the whole thing, how to run these as a short-term rental investment. So more and more of this is coming out, I think. But we're newbies with this. We're not nowhere near expert level when it comes to tiny homes. So I think that's what a lot of people will appreciate, is that we're kind of learning and sharing as we go, which is going to be a lot of fun. Luckily, we're in a position to make it happen really fast, which is cool. The funding, our partners that we have, the property that we have. So I'm excited about it, man. And then, of course, for Legends Mastermind, we're getting quite a bit of people that are reaching out that are doing similar models, that are excited about, the tiny home community, the whole thing. Down in June, when we go to Oaxaca, we're going to have some deep conversations on how about.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a little bit more about the people that you've been talking to in the last week or so. I know a couple really interesting people have joined the mastermind as well. But yeah, what type of people are you talking to?
Yeah, man, it's a mix of everybody. We have a couple of OG legends that have returned again for an event. So of course Rebecca, who's one of our legends, but she's been part of legends from the beginning. So she's going to be coming down with the specific focus on how to scale her brand, Hicksville Trailer Palace. She's got some really exciting stuff coming to works. So she, what I'm with her is, like, she bought Hicksville in our last event. Now this event, we're going to be talking about how to scale it, right? Into multiple locations. We have Jorge from Vacasa, Latin America, who rejoined. So I'm super excited about that. He just he just took over Mexico, I believe, for Vacasa. So he's going to be talking about how he's expanding that model. We have Christian, who is just freaking on fire, man. Have you talked to Christian lately?
I have a little bit. Yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
but he's
on fire.
yeah, I mean it seems like he's just exploding everywhere.
He just has a different mindset, man. He has we've obviously known him for many, many years now and watched him grow his company from like 80 to I don't know how many he has now, north of, I think he has near 300 units now. But now he's investing in properties in Mexico. He's investing in hotels. He's launching different services. He just has a whole different mindset, man. Expanding what he's built over the last couple of years. So I'm excited to really connect with him. But some new individuals that have joined are really interesting. So we're getting a lot of real estate investors that are joining the group right now. So people that are focused in acquiring either boutique hotels or single family homes as short-term rental investments. So we're seeing a lot of that. We just had somebody who joined yesterday. He's got 68 doors that he's running as short-term rentals. He's closing a fund to expand that. He wants to double that by the end of this year, which is pretty cool. But he's also focused on also building the brand side of it, right? So a lot of people are investing in these deals and they have the real estate side, but now they want to develop out the consumer brand, the front-facing brand, to be able to scale that, which then becomes a bit more valuable for raising the fund and then potentially selling the whole thing. So yeah, man, it's an interesting mix. It's an interesting mix of operators, unique investors, I guess we want to call them, and then regular hospitality investors.
Yeah, and that was the vision for the new version of the mastermind, right? Is to have about a third of the people being operators, about the third running boutique hotels, and then about the third being investors in the space.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, so looks like it's really shaping up to our vision right now.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. And it's what's interesting too is I talked about this on one of the masters. Dude, our industry has freaking changed the last 2 years for the better. Like we're seeing so many more professional operators and companies and entrepreneurs in this space that they have expanded like crazy, raised a ton of money, have a lot of either VC backed or board of advisors that are in place to help them scale. So it's really interesting watching these companies who we spoke to 2 years ago that only had a few listings or wasn't sure if they were going to survive COVID. And now they're in a position of growing real companies. So, some companies that we were talking to last year that had 50 units now have 500 units. And it's more common to see now. There's a bigger group of people in our industry that are running companies that are north of 300 listings with board of advisors, funding, the whole thing. And it's freaking awesome, man, because we started the Legends because there was nothing in place for companies like that. Now we're seeing the industry really moving. So yeah, I found for this mastermind, what I'm excited about is, we're continuing to niche down the people that we want to bring into this group. And what I found is like, Legends, the people that we're going to bring the most value to are running anywhere between 50 and 300 listings. They're the startup entrepreneurs, the ones that they don't have VC funding. They don't have big investor funding. They don't have board of advisors, but they're successful at what they're doing. And they're still in that fiery mode of like scale and solving problems in their business. That's what I found. Like this group, that's what we're going to be doing, is having those conversations. And that's what I'm excited about to go to, because we're going through the same thing, right? We have not yet closed our funding for Free Wild, all of that. So it's like we're the same challenges we're going through. That's what I found is going to be the power spot, the power for the Legends Mastermind.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was talking to some of the members because some of the members are starting to book flights for our event, which
Awesome.
we got to book our flights too because it's coming up in about I think exactly 7 weeks from now is when we are meeting in Oaxaca in Mexico. And one quick tip I wanted to give people is when it comes to flying, like I didn't realize, like a lot of people don't notice, but as I was helping people book their flights, do you notice like when you book an international flight, you know how sometimes it's cheaper to book two separate legs versus like the entire ticket?
Right.
So I was able to help one of our legends save like quite a bit of money by booking like separate legs. And this person told me, he was like, "Wow, I never knew this." And this person was like, "Wow, I didn't realize I was going to learn how to save money on booking flights for this mastermind." But I just wanted to mention it because I didn't realize a lot of people probably don't notice. But if you're, for example, flying from Los Angeles to a smaller city in Mexico, it could be a lot cheaper to just book a single flight to Mexico City and then book the connection separately versus booking the entire flight. So that's always something you have to check because you can save quite a bit of money that way.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Like we're taking a car down to the border, crossing over into Tijuana, and then flying from Tijuana down to Oaxaca. Right.
Yeah.
That's like a direct flight where if we were flying from San Diego, which is just a 30-minute drive from the Tijuana airport, it's like an 18-hour flight.
Yeah. I know,
and
it's
like
crazy,
10
right?
times more expensive. It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one of my favorite parts of being a digital nomad, was always trying to find out, figure out like these little hacks on how to find like cheap flights and stuff.
Yeah.
You can go and open the
Can
door
we
if you.
pause?
Yeah, we could pause.
I apologize, man. They were supposed to be here in an hour from now. They're delivering something to my house. They're early. Sorry,
All right,
dude.
we're just pausing it for a second.
Cool.
Yeah, by the way, I'm flying to Panama tomorrow, and I got a notification from the airport saying that I should show up like 3 to 4 hours in advance because
Damn.
the airport is the busiest it has been in 3 years.
Huh. Interesting.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
Well,
people
dude,
are
everybody
dying
wants
to
to travel,
travel.
man.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to get out.
it's crazy because I know you mentioned this a couple of times too, where you're like, hey, every time I travel, like it's so busy, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I noticed this even at the height of COVID, right? Is like when we were traveling through certain cities, just like I couldn't believe how busy airports were and how packed planes are. So I still think people are traveling, but now like, I think here in the States, they just got rid of the whole mask mandate on public travel. So you don't have to wear a mask on the plane as of now. So that's opening up more comfortability, I guess, for people to travel. But yeah, man, I mean, we're seeing it now, like the amount of events and everything that's happening, around the world. Every day I'm getting invited to a new event, right? That's happening. It feels like pre-COVID before. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm excited to get down there. I'm excited to get to Oaxaca. I heard it's beautiful down there, and super excited for that experience. But just to disconnect and be in a beautiful space with some really powerful CEOs that are all trying to build what we're building right now, and just like connecting, going deep on that. Plus, with the team that we're gonna have there, I think you and I are gonna have a bit more fun on these trips than we typically do on the last ones. Yeah, this one's gonna be cool, man. We're gonna be able to actually put our feet up a bit and relax with the members versus what we were doing on the previous ones.
Yeah, it's really funny because like 2 years ago when we were in Colombia, like it was basically you and I trying to figure everything out, and now we have Overnight Success. We have an entire team, but we also have now an event manager. So everything is leveling up. The whole mastermind is going to be leveled up as well, not just the live events, but the virtual, the vault that we have, like the the whole experience is going to be next level to what it was before.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm excited, man. And we we still have a few spots. So I'm really excited to see who we connect with. But the current members that we have that are going down there now, it's pretty cool. There's a handful of guys that are coming down that are just like in that brand new startup phase that are just like they're in a really powerful spot to be able to scale. And then we have some real major players coming in, individuals that are investing hundreds of millions into real estate, and like buying massive buildings, creating funds for the short-term rental space and buying hotels, stuff like that. So the mix of the room is going to be freaking incredible.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the value of these masterminds, because I know you have been in masterminds for a long time. You always talk about like Think and Grow Rich, right? Yep. Where one of the chapters is about how important it is to join a mastermind if you want to really be successful at growing a business. So if I were to ask you, like, let's say I'm an operator, I have like 50 or 100 units, or I'm a big short-term rental real estate investor, like, why should I join this mastermind?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. Community is it at the end of the day. It's like we've said this so many different times, but I hear it for every single person who has joined. They're excited about the experience. They're excited about travel. They're excited about like going to the property and all the things that we create around the mastermind. But the one thing that they're mostly excited about is the community, the people that we cultivate to bring into that room, right? Because when you're at that range of 100 to 200 units, it's like you're still so deep in your business. And there's so many major challenges that come up in your business that you're solving and you have the ability to solve, but it becomes just a slightly more easier to solve those problems when you can sit down and have a discussion with people who have solved those exact problems or currently solving them in their business, right? It's someone who just joined literally was just saying, he's like, Eric, I cannot stand Facebook groups anymore. He's like, I don't want to go to VRMA anymore. I don't want to do Facebook groups anymore. He's like, I need to solve these problems that no one is speaking about. It's like people in Facebook groups are complaining about the guests leaving a bad review, right? It's like, we, at 100, 200 units, yes, those are challenges, but it's like, that's like short-term rentals 101 on how to deal with that and how to overcome that, right? And how to solve those problems. But solving problems of scale, solving problems of like, how do we attract and retain the best talent possible to help us scale this model? How do we move into a new market and maintain our standards that we took X amount of time to build in our current market, right? How do I actually build a brand that is recognizable to guests at a huge scale so I don't have the dependency on Airbnb, right? Yeah. How do I actually drive profitability in my business versus just getting more units, right? These are real challenges. Once you get to 100, 200 units that you got to really solve. And, like if you got to that level, you have the ability to solve those problems yourself. But this is just like the community is just going to help you shorten that learning curve a lot faster because you can see directly from people that have solved it or currently solving it, their approach to those businesses. Plus, the lifelong connections that are being built here. It's like people, I'm not going to mention it on the podcast because, I just don't want to put their business out there, but there's two members that met in the Columbia mastermind that are just now about to launch something massive, a massive company, and acquiring a couple of companies due to the relationship that they built 2 years ago. Right. Yeah. And they were telling me about it. I'm like, this is freaking awesome. So they're going to be in the room with us to, discuss how they're going to scale that. Right. And it's like, this community, it's like it's very rare to come across. And like, we're starting to see a bit more in the industry, a lot more events popping up, but they still very surface level on it. Right. So it's like, dude, like for anyone who's running that 50 to 300 listings, it's like you need that board of advisors. You need that community that you could really go to. And, you know, this is going to be the room to find them in.
Yeah, exactly. Because these are the type of questions that are being answered in the conversations that people are having in the mastermind. Those are not things that you can get answered on a forum or just listening to a podcast or something, because they're very difficult questions to answer, right? Like you said, it's not about like, how do I get, how do I get from 80 to 90% occupancy, or how do I, fill up my calendar gaps of pricing or something like that. Those are answers that you can find on the internet. And you don't need to have a very strong connection to somebody in order to find that information, right? But if you're trying to figure out like your brand, or those higher level questions, like you have to sit down with somebody who really understands your business and who's gone before you. But also you have to be in a certain mindset and a certain environment to have that conversation too, right? Because that's not a conversation that you're going to have when you chat to somebody for 10 minutes at a local event or something. Right. That's a conversation that you're having when you're spending like the whole day out on the ocean on a boat, like what we're like we are doing, for example, on the Sunday. We take everybody out on an excursion, and you have a long time to really connect with somebody, have a deep conversation, and feel comfortable sharing the real insights, because you have a connection with that person. You're building a relationship over the 4 days of the live event, right. But then also over the, as long as you stay in the mastermind, because like you mentioned, some of our members, they've been with us in 2019. So they're, awesome. They're like family almost, right? Yeah. It's like, so you have the relationship that allows you to go deep on those topics. That's what the number one thing I've learned, throughout this experience with STR Legends.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also access, right? It's like powerful people have access to powerful people, and it's like for us to explore, for us to continue to expand our network and get resources, we need access to people and resources. And the best way to doing that is through other successful entrepreneurs and business owners. Right. Yep. So it's like and I see this all the time with our legends. It's like anyone who's having a challenge, they have somebody to connect them with to help them solve that problem. Right. So it's community, it's proximity, and it's access to resources that makes a mastermind the most valuable. Right. Because like once we have a community of 30 operators and short-term rental CEOs and business owners that are running multi-million-dollar companies, we then have proximity to powerful people that are in the industry. And Conley, like we always mention, supported us in this mastermind. We have access to these individuals, not coming into the group to pitch us on anything, but to literally discuss and mentor us through growing our companies. So, dude, it's like, we're part of that. We invest in that ourselves. We invest a lot of money in masterminds and coaches and now consultants, right? Like that's something that you and I have just been on fire with the last, 6 months now, of like hiring specific expert consultants who come in and support in our business. And it's like, dude, it's powerful. It's like, we have to have that community we have to have a community like this to connect us with the right people that can support us inside our business.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And those consultants have been extremely valuable for us, really helping us make the most difficult decisions, right? The questions that you can't come up with an answer right away. You really have to, you got to get some outside perspective to provide some guidance.
Yeah. 100%, man. Yeah. I mean, that's, it's like one thing you and I are experiencing that we've never experienced before. And, I'm sure some people listening right now have gone through it. And if not, and you're growing a company, you're going to go through this, is really having the conversations about team hiring and compensation and retention plans and profitability and like the whole thing. Like that is such a challenging conversation to have because it's not a straightforward discussion. It's not it's not a, it's not a straightforward conversation. It's very, very challenging to figure out the way to structure a team, one to a certain level. It's like, that's something I'm excited about learning from our members down in this, down in June is our challenge that we're going to bring there is like, how do we build and retain a solid team for Free Wild? And then 2 is how do we scale this model in different cities?
Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of one of our previous members, Gustavo. I remember in our first mastermind, like he was comparing his team to the team of another operator. And then he realized that his team, his org chart, like the team members that he had was not most optimal. And he ended up changing it and literally saving hundreds of thousands of dollars by getting a better team.
Yeah, man. He, dude, that was incredible. He saved over $300,000 a year in operational costs, by just learning from how other people are running their businesses and their teams. And then he was able to, what's the word I'm looking for? He was able to position his team members, in this one department into manager positions and help them scale that area, which was incredible. So he saved money, but then he also had the ability to place his A players in different positions that help grow the company as well.
Yeah. That was incredible. Well, for the people that are listening, like you said, I know you still have some quite a few calls lined up. I just had a sneak peek in your calendar actually, just before we started this podcast, to see who you're talking to. But I noticed you're talking to quite a few people this week. But we do have a few spots available at the time that we record this podcast. It's going to go live on Friday, so I don't know if those seats are still there on Friday. But if you are listening to this and you want to be part of that community, you want to be somebody who you want to be that the next person who's able to save a lot of money or make those connections and set up a new business partnership, or buy your dream hotel like Rebecca at our event in Colombia, apply at strlegends.com. We might still have a few spots depending on like how the calls go in the next few days. But yeah, if you have if you operate 50 listings or more, and as Eric mentioned, typically between 50 and 200 is really like the sweet spot for this mastermind. Or if you own and invest in short-term rental real estate, you own at least 3 million, or if you run boutique hotels. As we mentioned, we have about a third of each of those buckets. So go ahead, check out strlegends.com. Put in your application. We'll get on a call with you to see if it makes sense, the mastermind for you, if it's a good fit. And then we might see you in Mexico in about, I think it's 7 weeks from now.
Mexico, dude, I'm so pumped for this, man. It's going to be awesome. 7 weeks from now, which is crazy. It's going to come up super fast. We got a few spots. So yeah, guys. And also if you know anybody that would be a good fit for this, we'd love a referral, right? So, we fill this mastermind through referrals and introductions. So yeah, if you know anybody, send them over to the website or connect us via email. But yeah, man, excited about, and then I'm excited for all the lessons that we're going to share from that mind as well. So we are bringing down head of media, John, who's going to be documenting the entire experience, which is going to be super cool. We're gonna relaunch our YouTube channel. Maybe we could talk about this one day too, of like how to choose a media channel to go all in on as your marketing channel and grow. And what you and I have and the team have discovered is like, hey, the podcast is number one. Number two is our email list. If you guys haven't signed up for the email list, make sure you jump on there. We write a custom email every single day, for learning lessons from us, from our students, from our mentors. How can they sign up for that? Getpaidforyourpad.com.
Getpaidforyourpad.com. Just put in your email and you'll get the emails every Monday to Friday.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't on that, make sure you sign up on that. And then third is going to be YouTube. We recognized throughout the years that we're not social media people. It's just not something that's our strength. I think it takes too much focus and dedication to be in there, where we like to, we got a lot of stuff going on, and we like to focus on one thing that we can build that can be there for a very long time. So our podcasts are there forever, right? People are still discovering podcasts for the first time that, you recorded years ago. So our next thing that we're going to build is YouTube, which is awesome. So yeah, my point behind this whole thing is once we get back from the mastermind, we're going to be showcasing a lot of what we learned down there. We're going to be introducing you guys to new legend members, the whole thing. So pretty pumped about it, man.
Absolutely. Awesome, dude. Let's wrap this up, man. Any final thoughts?
That's it, y'all. Reach out if you need anything. If you guys have any questions on the mastermind, otherwise, if you qualify, go over to strlegends.com and apply.
That's it. All right, y'all. Well, have a great weekend. Of course, we'll be back on Monday, and you and I will be back on Friday as well with another episode. So keep listening. Sign up for the email list at getpaidforyourpad.com. Apply for Legends, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Let's go.
Boom.